Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which means I am home. So today is a very exciting day for me because today, for the first time on my podcast, I will be talking to a very young man who I met the other day just by chance at an event, and we got into such an interesting conversation. And I was like, you have to do this podcast with me. So without further ado, I'd like him to introduce himself.
Hi Celeste, and hi for the viewers. My name is Lance Q. I'm 26 years old this year, and I'm sort of a millennial, Gen Y. I'm also close to like Gen Z and the boomers. We talk a lot. And also, I was very interested to join your podcast also, Celeste, because I'm someone that watches podcasts quite often. Joe Rogan was probably my first, and then like we go on and on, Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, Aiden Ross. So yeah, I think podcasts are interesting ways to share. This is my first podcast. I'm 26. Maybe there's more to come. I don't know. But then thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate you inviting me to the podcast, Celeste.
Okay, yeah, I think there will be many, many other opportunities, not just on my podcast, but who knows, you might start your own one. You never know, right? You never know.
You never know. You never
Yeah,
say
you
never.
never know.
Yeah.
Yes, never say no. Okay, so today him and I will be talking about the man of the hour, the man of the moment, just the man, top G, Andrew Tate. Now, I didn't know about Andrew Tate until about 2 weeks ago because I am, from a different generation. But I want Lance to first tell me how he learned about Andrew Tate.
Well, funny you said Top G, because Top G was the first time I heard about Andrew Tate. When you're hanging out with your bunch of friends and they start saying, "Wow, Top G, Top G," so you're like thinking, "Who is this Top G?" And then after they mentioned Andrew Tate, I got into like YouTube or Facebook Shorts. I saw a guy making controversial statements, which at first I found to be funny because he's pretty aggressive. So, but then I looked down. The caption was, it was Andrew Tate, the top G. So when YouTube keeps recommending Andrew Tate, naturally I watch more of his videos. Initially, we all feel that he's a bit of an extremist, but like once you start like listening to what this guy says, like he articulated it like pretty well, and like normally like people just shrug off like what he says. But then I gave him more chance and I listened to more of his videos. And I even watched the 3 hour podcast of him and Mr. Patrick Bet David. And I actually found his answers to be all well thought out and articulated very well. So I believe that he's quite logical, and actually some would say he's smart. So in this world of there's many people who are like idealists right now, because the world is pretty safe. It's pretty like anyone can survive. But Andrew Tate, he brings out a fresh take, which is like a realist. He says what's probably in our mind and what's facts. So that's why I started to listen to more on Andrew Tate, and that's how I came across this top G.
So when exactly did you get into Andrew Tate? Was it like a few months ago or a year, or what time
I
frame?
would say probably around 4 months ago. Yeah, about 3 to 4 months ago.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
after he got famous, but after like 1 or 2 months only, I started to really get into it.
Okay, yeah, because I don't really know. I don't even know when he became famous.
Yeah, probably
Because
he probably became famous mid of 2022. Yeah, that around
oh,
that
okay,
time, mid of 22.
okay. So okay, so you did tell me just now what. I have a question here. What do you know about him? Like, let's say about his business or his past, his profile.
Okay, so from what I understand, he grows up with his father and brother. So his father was a grandmaster in chess. So he pretty intelligent man. So he raised the two boys. I mean, they were raised to learn chess, and not only just chess, but probably the concept of chess, they applied it to real life, where have you can do certain moves that are really good, and certain moves are just not good. After I think his father passed, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate, they became I mean they are poor, and they became what's it called, martial artists. So Andrew Tate was a kickboxer. Tristan Tate, I think he was in another it's also a fighting sports, and they became Andrew Tate became like 4 times world kickboxing champion or something but he still didn't earn like much money. So from my understanding is they struggled like being poor for a while. I mean, he was in good shape, but I mean financially it was not good. So I remember Andrew Tate, he started his business with his brother Tristan Tate, but it's not a good business. I would say they are letting girls onto platforms, and these girls are chatting with guys out there for free. But then in the end, the girls will sort of scam the guys for money, because maybe the girls will say, "Oh, let's meet up, maybe in Germany or something." But the girls may need some visa, may need some hotel fees, or may need some expenses. But the girls was never gonna visit the guy, so the guys kept on banking in money, and the guys was hoping that the girls would actually like come. Maybe it's like an online girlfriend type of thing, but that's how they cheated and became rich. Like, I mean, they started from small, and they grew to a level which is not that big, is not that huge like a monopoly, but that's how they became rich and they could buy stuff. Then I think after from this, they ventured out into um something university that Andrew Tate created. So I think it's somehow, I heard that it's like a pyramid scheme basically. So that's why many people don't support him. But I believe Andrew Tate, not for his work, but for his coaching and mentality teaching. I think he brings more positivity through that than the actual scamming and cheating itself.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so interesting that backstory of Andrew Tate, because I know a little bit about it. I didn't really look into that because I was more interested in because he's a young man, he's only 36. So I know he started this webcam things when he was 26. Because it was, I think, 10 years ago. So obviously, when you're that age, you will make mistakes. You will try to find shortcuts. So as an older person, I kind of excuse him if he did anything that was
it's
not
like
very savory.
if there's a buyer and there's a seller, I mean, like if there's a demand for it, somehow he got away with it.
Yes, this is the other thing. And then also I'm a big believer in women must also take responsibility for their own actions. So if there are women willing to sell themselves, there's always going to be someone that will sell them, and there's always going to be someone that will buy them. And then also the people buying them, they also have to be responsible.
They gotta bear the responsibility, because it's very sketchy in the first place. So I mean, I'm not saying that they deserve it, but they gotta expect a certain form of like this type of implications.
Exploitation comes with that kind of territory. It's a gamble. The flesh trade is always a gamble. Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, but interesting that you said it is that is not what you focus on when you look at Andrew Tate, right? So what is your opinion regarding things that he says or that he does, and how does that inspire you as a young man? Which particular things, if you can think about?
I mean, actually, what inspired me the most when I started watching him was, I mean, personal backstory, because I was just going through a breakup during the time when Andrew Tate got famous. So with my long-term girlfriend, so that really, I mean, it hurt someone where you thought you're gonna spend the rest of your life with someone, but then it just didn't happen. So naturally, as a young man, I tried to make myself happy. I mean, I was kind of depressed. I was like chowing down on food, on desserts, on junk food. I mean, over a time, like I mean, those are instant gratifications, but I was still not very happy. So I mean, on some videos that I watched on Tate, he said that actually depression is a myth and it's for the weak. So I was like flabbergasted. I was like, isn't depression an actual disease that like people actually give medicine to? So I continued to listen to video. He said, well, if you got dumped and you are in a heartbreak, first of all, you have unlimited energy to work out and to be in the best shape of your life. He said working out and exercising will help cure depression better than any medicine that the doctor will like prescribe. So I mean, I was unmotivated, and that video kind of motivated me. So I mean, I tried it. I tried to do some gym, went to some badminton, and then actually it did help. I mean, all the while I was waiting for like someone to come to my aid to be like hand me a silver spoon. I mean that didn't work out. But working out actually improved my mood, and therefore I believe that actually happiness is actually in your own control. I mean, depression, you can be depressed maybe a day, a week, 2 weeks, but you can't be depressed for several months, and then that depression is just an excuse. So I mean, you can be sad, but don't let that define your life, man. Like, so when Andrew Tate articulates his thoughts like that, I mean, it's a very good advice for people like me, for I mean, everyone in general, because everyone goes through heartbreak. There's no one that doesn't go through heartbreak. But when you go through heartbreak and you do not recover, when there's no one to tell you to recover, they'll be like saying, it's fine, just take your time off, take a few months off, a years off. Then actually is kind of waste of your time. Why not just improve yourself? So that's that's the main idea of why Andrew Tate I think is a mentor. I mean, I forgive the bad things he does because of the good that he can inspire.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, because just even from me watching, just in the past week, I had to like really watch a lot of his videos so that I can really talk about certain things that he talks about. And yeah, I can see I can see why he would inspire and motivate men. But I think he's also quite inspirational to women if they want to be open-minded and not be victims. You know, a kind of woman who can take it. I think even she can learn a lot from him, because even me at my age, you know, some of the videos, the relationship things he was talking about made so much sense. But I think that's also because he's quite old school. You know, he's actually quite conservative when it comes to relationships. He's not that, especially when it comes to how women must behave. Yeah, he's quite traditional. Yeah, because when I hear him talk, it's like things my father would say, even in that same kind of way, like just calls a spade, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, girls nowadays, they are behaving because I mean it's a very comfortable environment. I mean, girls don't need guys in this day and age, but like some of them start to be a little bit more narcissist. You can see that every girls they say that they're a 10. I mean 10 out of 10, but maybe they're not really there. But they have the confidence of being a 10 out of 10, which is good. I mean, it should be good, but then rather than becoming a good point, it actually becomes more of a narcissistic point of view. And I mean, girls sort of start to like sleep around and like getting away with whatever they can, but not thinking about the consequences of their actions. I think that's way the society is going backwards somehow. I think the previous form of
no, it's not going backwards, because in my generation and the generation before, women were not like that.
Oh, you know, yeah, okay, it's going forward into a bad direction, I guess.
Yeah, and only like the way I see the girls, especially on videos, behave and how they talk, that was reserved for only prostitutes. Only those kind of ladies spoke like that and behaved like that. Us ladies, we were always like reserved, or even if we were doing things, it was quiet. It's not out in everybody's face, because, you know, we have shame. We have to consider our families, our parents. We need to get, you know, we want good reputation. But now it seems like the girls who are out there like behaving like prostitutes, and on top of it, they're not even getting paid to behave like that. At least a prostitute, there's some money, some income coming. But these girls were just out there doing all these things. They are being celebrated. Yeah. And then the girl who's like keeping herself, you know, like chaste, she's been looked down upon. So it's very, like, for me, it's very weird, because I'm from a different generation, you know, like when I see girls behave like that, to me, it's like, ho, because it's just my generation, you know.
Yeah, I mean, some of the girls, they really just do it because of the attention that they get. I mean, just the attention. I mean, and nowadays girls are doing like OnlyFans because maybe they feel it's easy money. I mean, it's up to them, really. It's really up to them, but you don't see this practice like 100 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah, no, you did, but it was a certain type of woman who did it. It wasn't your neighbor or your you know, your friend in school or in class. It was some sleazy woman in some back alley who was doing these things. There was a big difference between.
Yeah. I mean, it's so common now, right?
Yeah, but now it could be anybody. It could be your sister, your cousin, your best friend at school, in the college. It's just like anybody, the housewife.
Your high school crush or something. Yes, oh, that sucks.
It's like weird. Yeah, it's just weird. And then you just have to go along with, okay, yeah. Anyway, but that's how life is now. Okay, so anything, like, you already said like this one thing, like when you spoke about depression, this is something that inspired you a lot. Anything else you can think about?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I do have a few, there's a few topics that I would like to talk about. I mean, one of it is actually, he talks about the age peak of women and the age peak of men, which we don't really think about like nowadays. I mean, I don't really think about that until he mentioned it, because like women nowadays, okay, to make it simple, women nowadays, they peak at the age of 24 to 25. So I've witnessed like countless of relationship where maybe initially a woman was graduating with their high school sweetheart or their university sweetheart, but once they have graduated and they have gone to the real working environment, they start to compare their current boyfriends and the working class of like men. So I mean, definitely the working class of men are 10 years ahead. They are more successful, they are more driven, they are more logical, more experienced. Yeah, they are older. So then suddenly the love just falls apart, and they're like, and people are like, why did what did the man do wrong? But actually it's just because women, they have to, biologically, the evolution, they have to find a partner which are higher than them, like in terms of like wealth and stuff like that. So women will like just break up with their current boyfriend to find like someone better. So that's the age peak of women. But men, we like, it's later for us. We gotta work hard. We gotta work out. We gotta develop our thoughts. So men's like peak age is about 35. So I mean, why do I say this? Because when I see marriage ages nowadays, so why does it excuse women that you want to play at 24 to 25, you want to sleep around, it's fine for you. But then when you get to the age of 30, you marry a man at 35, which he just got his peak, and you expect the man to like be loyal to you while you were playful during your peak, and you expect your man to not be playful during their peak. So this kind of double standards, I feel it's a bit unfair to men nowadays, because unless you're a woman that at 25, you were still loyal, you were still committed to your man. And then at the age of 35, a man should be just as committed as your woman. But then because the double standard nowadays is that even men, we achieve status, we achieve wealth at 35, we are expected to be like loyal, we are expected to be good, although we are dating maybe some hoes which have slept around with like maybe 50 guys. I mean, that's a stretch, but I think you know what I'm talking about because
Yeah.
yeah, men, I'm not condoning cheating because that's always wrong. But I just would like to be aware of the double standard that exists. And I would like to remind men who's at 25, 26 right now to be like, yo, you gotta chill because your time is not there yet. But you gotta work on yourself. You gotta work on maybe your speech, your work, your body, your experience, everything. And the time will come for you. But you can be a gentleman and like settle down. Or I mean, it's your time to play. I mean, go ahead, King. Like don't feel bad. So I think this is a kind of concept which we don't think so much about, but once it's spoken, you start to become more logical, right? I think.
Yeah, that's like something I heard him say. But I've also heard Jordan Peterson say certain things similar to Andrew Tate. Well, I should say Andrew Tate says things similar to Jordan Peterson. Because I think Jordan Peterson is really top G. He's like on another level. He's like another level. What about your peers? Because I'm sure you have peers that are totally anti Andrew Tate.
Oh wow, my peers, my boys. Yeah.
All girls.
Okay, I mean girls, I would say definitely they are anti Andrew Tate. Whether or not they listen to him, but they feel that because like when they're talking when Andrew Tate is talking bad about the girls' gender, they definitely feel like and they anti him no matter what he says. They don't even want to listen to them. Like because he kind of says that it kind of restricts the woman's freedom. But actually I think it's for a good reason. But I mean for girls, they just totally anti him no matter what. So I mean for guys, I would say there are still a lot of guys that don't really appreciate his thoughts. I would say they are maybe memeing him. I would say like half of the guys are like saying, "Yo, this guy is a bit aggressive. Is a bit extremist." So they are saying, "Don't listen too much about Andrew Tate." But, yeah, but probably they are watching like a lot of the YouTube shorts, which are it's kind of out of context. Sometimes you gotta watch the whole you gotta watch the whole podcast to understand. I mean, there are another 50% of guys which are they're willing to listen to some advice and actually like they kind of understand. So I mean, between the two 50%, right? You can see the first 50%, they are more they have had more success in life. So they are more ideal because maybe the relationship's not that hard, or maybe money is not that hard, or maybe life is in general is not that hard. So they are trying to be like, okay, it's good, it's good. Girls and guys should be like totally equal. But for the other 50%, actually, they have had harder lives. They are more realists. They know that looks matter. They know that woman is maybe a woman which is a 6 is like a man that is a 9. There is a difference in life in general. In value, exactly. Unless the man which is a 2, he earns a lot of money, then he can jump up to the status. So the other 50% of guys, they're more willing to listen to him, and they actually kind of agree with his statements. So that's why I think that he's a good coach in a sense where sometimes guys we think about things, but we don't know how to articulate them into sentences and don't know how to bring meaning to these thoughts. But when someone says it out loud, and Andrew Tate has probably thought about this many times, it makes sense for like people like me, for the 50% which is like on the other side. So I would say still many people is not really supporting, but probably a lot of young guys, they are starting to think of it as a coach.
Yes. Okay. Because interestingly enough, over the past 4 days, 5 days, I've been just asking random young men on the street if they know him and what do
Oh,
they think
really?
about him. Yes, just
In
Malaysia, so all
KL?
kinds. Yes, in KL, everywhere. Where I'm just like, excuse me.
Wow.
And luckily, because people are, no one felt like, what's this lady coming to ask me? Because everybody watches videos, and so everyone
I've
is
always,
internet
yeah.
savvy. And every single man I spoke to, because I didn't speak to women, every single young man I spoke to said they know him and they like him. He's a motivator. There was not even one negative comment
Really?
from, yes,
Wow.
not even one. Yeah, so this for me is very
That's kind of
interesting.
surprising.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is Malaysia because I was hoping to find someone with a different perspective, but I did not. But then I was mainly in the KL area. I didn't go like to PJ and Subang because I live on this side. So the furthest I went was
Maybe if you
New
find
Central.
someone which has a girlfriend, girlfriend at the side, he might give you a different
Yes,
opinion.
yes, I was looking for that. Yeah, because I know that girls will probably have, young women will have a problem with what he says. Okay, so I just want to ask a few questions of you, Lance. Okay, so first thing is what Andrew Tate always talks about is he said that it is innate based on evolutionary biology and that a man will cheat. Okay, fine and well. But how can we address this in the modern times? What do you think about that?
I think that actually, I think the basic belief is that many people in the world know that when men identify sex, it's something physical, and when women identify sex, it's something emotional. So a man can have sex with multiple women, but at the end of the day, he still loves his wife. But once a woman has sex with another man, it's basically clear that she does not love her partner anymore. That's in most cases. So that's why we see like the top Gs of the world, the sultans, the kings, the conquerors in the past, they will have like many sex partners and cheat because it is in their desire. But I believe in the modern times, like let's say in an average man promises his wife that he will never cheat, and then he cheats. I still think that is morally wrong and undisciplined in my opinion. I mean, there is a gray area where actually if a man of high value or whether he's not of high value, he has to show that he has the intention of sleeping with other women. So actually, the woman can decide whether or not she minds this or not, or whether the benefits of having this man actually exceeds the loyalty and love. So in this case, where she believes if he is more beneficial to her survival, although he cheats, then I mean that may be the only situation that the guy should cheat. I mean, the main point is the girl must have an idea and that this may happen. If the guy was very unclear, giving all the green flags, but actually he's in his mind is all the red flags, then yeah, he's in the wrong because he did not inform the girl that it may happen. So I think there is a marginally acceptable line in society nowadays. But I mean, of course we hope that ideally that no one cheats and like it shouldn't happen as often. Shouldn't happen to most people. I mean, there are like few exceptions.
Yeah, so it's like you are saying, like, yeah, it is innate. It's just biology. But like in the modern times, either a man must try to exercise restraint, control, or he has to be upfront about it to his partner, in this case, his wife, because we'll be talking about, because cheating normally happens in a marriage, right? He must be upfront to his wife, and then it's up to her to decide whether she wants to be with this kind of man or not, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and because as you were saying, because some women will be they will put up with this because you said it benefits them. They will
Yeah,
outweigh it. It outweighs the actual cheating.
yeah. The
Okay,
sexual
yeah, that's
desire is not just there anymore. Yeah, and
right.
maybe they are more comfortable even without the sex or something.
Yes,
Some
yeah,
women, yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. Okay, because maybe she just wants his money. I mean, That's also
Yeah.
possible. I mean, anything's
It's
possible, right?
a cruel world nowadays where money is the king of everything. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, yeah, that's a fair answer. Okay, then the second thing that he was talking about, and because I want to give a little bit of pushback, but I also want you to tell me what you think. He said that men and women can't be friends because a woman can't offer anything in such a relationship to the man, because it's better for the man to find answers from his friends or help from his friends. And in this kind of friendship, only the woman gains something from it. What do you think about that?
I think because the end goal of men and women, there is slight difference because okay, let's see it one by one. Men seeks success, wealth, respect, and I mean we do seek fun activities. So actually, I mean when we look at that, can a woman make a man successful? Well, I mean, if she provides emotional support and stays throughout his journey, yeah, it's possible. But I mean, sometimes they don't stay through the lows, they only come for the highs. So, can a woman bring wealth to a man? There are exceptions where there are tycoons of a woman, but in most cases, not really, because woman's money is still her money. Even if she's rich, normally she won't really support the man, or at most, it'll be 50-50. So, can a woman bring a man respect? Not really, because it doesn't matter what type of woman does a man date. The man has to gain this respect, and he has to do meaningful things. He has to work hard. He has to get his trust from his peers. So can a woman bring a man joy and happy things? Okay, this one in this case, yes. Pretty much because I like a life partner. She can provide child. I mean, like sexual intercourse. Those are fun things that a woman can provide. But if you see like majority of it, like a woman can't really give it that much. So let's see on the woman's side of things. A woman desires protection, attention. I mean, success in her career also, I mean, are one of the things in the modern society. So,
Right.
and a man can actually help in most of these aspects. I mean, you look at protection, the man will protect her, the man will give her attention. If you say success in her career, or whether she's going the right path or the non-right path, maybe she's sleeping with the director or something, it does help with her career somehow. I mean,
Right,
these
right.
are a bit, yeah.
What do they
So
call that?
basic
Couch, what? Casting couch.
casting couch. Oh, that's a bit. I think everyone will understand that. Yes. So okay, traditionally, I mean, if any beautiful woman meets a man's desire, most of the time a man would like to make her his territory. And
Okay,
this
so
is
that's so
actually,
that means they can't be friends.
yeah, I mean, women they will want to be friends, but then actually when men suddenly they chase the woman, or they suddenly say, "Oh, I like you," or I want to have sex with you. So women are mostly shocked because
Right,
they
right.
are surprised why this thing just suddenly happens. Because actually in the man's dream, every man wants to be a conqueror if he has the capacity to do it. So I mean, the friendship, uh, the friendship dynamic is men can't really find that much support from a woman, but woman can find more support than a man. So actually, in conclusion, actually, I believe that women also should generally know whether a man is genuinely her friend or has hidden intentions. I
Right,
mean,
right.
if she allows it, no, maybe she just likes the attention she receives from it. I mean, that's not wrong, but then to to be ignorant, it's something else. Yeah.
Right, right. Yeah, because my thoughts on that is that I did write it down. Let me see. Because he said like um, yeah, women can't really offer anything, and like in his case, if he's not if it's not going to be more than if she's not going to be like a sexual partner or wife, there's no reason to be friends, because if he needs something, he'll go to his male friends. And he said this is like generally how it works. And actually, I now that when he said that and I thought about it, it's actually true, because it is better for a man to, especially when he's married, to not really be friends with women, because he's that attention he's giving to that woman, he's taking it away from his own wife. When it's
Yes.
boyfriend and girlfriend, it's probably different. But when it's your wife, I mean, you spending 10 minutes with some other woman talking about things that's got nothing to do with a wife, I mean, that's like unfair on her. It's like I said, taking attention away from her. But then on the other hand, I'm thinking, let's say if they're not husband and wife, they're just dating. I think a man and woman can be friends. And yes, men always will want to go the sexual route. But again, then maybe that's a way for him a way to teach him to exercise self-control, so that it's like every time he's with it, it's an exercise. Like, block, which is good for him. On the other hand, also, I feel like, because a lot of men don't have sisters, so they don't really know how to interact with women, because they don't have that female energy, like that female peer energy in their lives. So
actually, I completely agree with you that, like, if it's a married couple, I mean, we should really, as a man, we shouldn't try to mix it around with women so much, because first of all, if you tell other women, they will, in front of you, they'll be maybe giving you advice, but behind, they may be gossiping about you, and then your whole image, your whole family, just the image or reputation or morale just goes down. I mean, like,
right.
Some women may think, oh, this guy is not so successful. Some women may think, oh, why is this guy looking for outside support rather than his own woman? Is his woman not capable? So the whole morale of the family just breaks down. And in your case where you mentioned that if it's not dating, I mean, yeah, it's possible to get some women's advice, but yeah, most of the time, I mean, if they are not a beautiful woman, maybe there are some very intelligent girls, but most of the time, if it's like a very beautiful woman or a higher standard than the man will still seek for sexual desires more often than not.
Yeah, there's always a hidden agenda. There will be an agenda. Yeah.
I mean, if a man can sleep with 100 of his friends, and I think he may be kind of proud of it, rather than disgusted by it.
It's a conquest.
It's a conquest. I think that's I mean, that's just evolutionary how we are brought up.
How we've evolved.
How we evolved.
But what do you think about this thing that I was saying, that in some cases, maybe, because especially for men who never had sisters, so they don't really know how to interact with a woman without making it sexual. Because, when you interact with your sister, obviously we would hope it's not sexual. It's just...
But you would, not Alabama, okay.
Yeah, but you see, because when it's your sister, but from her, you then learn how to behave, and you would learn how to pick up on her cues, because a woman's cues are different than a man's. So I'm thinking, maybe if a man does not have sisters, it's actually good when he has just a girlfriend, because that is like a sister, where they just so that he can learn how to be with a woman without making it about sex, just making it about whatever, like the topic, or
I've never really thought about this, because I mean, I myself have a sister, so like we talk regularly and we are comfortable with each other. But then I'm not very sure in the point of view where a man does not have a sister, But then I think that as a man is growing up from maybe 1 to 18, it doesn't matter if he really has a sister or not, because normally in school or in public parks, you sort of, I mean, like tuition or something, you get to speak to a woman, and then during those age, during those age, you are not like think that much about like sex, and the intentions are not so mean. I mean, it was more pure than not. So I think that whether or not this man has a sister, it doesn't really deal with much, because I see that there is not much difference in significance whether someone has a sister or not.
Or not? Okay.
The way they treat women are basically the same.
The same. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to see your viewpoint there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I want to ask you that he also talked about, he said at one time, and people got so angry. Okay. I'll give you what I think, and then you tell me. Okay. He said that women are property. Okay. Or something to that effect. And people were getting all hoo-ha. And so I was looking at it in a few ways. One way was that when he said women, I can't remember if it was, he said women are my property or just women, I don't know, but whatever it is, it was about women being property of the man. So again, because it's semantics, that word property makes people upset. But I was thinking about it because when you are married, when you exchange vows, you are in a way becoming, the woman is becoming the man's property. This is what I'm thinking. But I think also the man in a way is becoming the woman's property, especially sexually. Because you can hear couples say you are my man or you are my woman, they will fight for that. Like even if some other woman wants to come and talk to your husband, you'll be like, she was talking to my man, this kind of like this my, because like it's when you say my, it's like it's your property. And I know sexually, yes, it's kind of your property because when you get married, your body belongs only to that person. And if I'm talking about like Christian marriage or Muslim marriage, where it's what do you call it? It's monogamy.
Holy, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's also monogamy. It's one man, one woman. So you are saying your body is only for me, and his body is only for me. So it is kind of property. So like if I'm married, my body cannot be outside busy with other bodies because this body is already the property. So in a way, I can understand that. But then because when he talks, he was not talking about marriage. He was just talking about like not marriage. So I think when he's talking about it and it's not marriage, then I don't think it is right that you can claim that that woman is your property because only that thing you put here on her finger makes it your property. That's why you put the ring. The ring is like a stamp. You are mine. You cannot share my things with anybody else. You see, so that's if you put a ring on it. The other thing is where I think a man does have rights over a woman's body is if you are her pimp. If you are selling her as a prostitute, if you are her agent in pornography, and sometimes I think even if you are her agent, if she is a dancer or a model, and even an athlete, because when you're an athlete, your body is your tool. And then your manager will say where your body is going to go and how much.
Those are quite literal.
Like even, look at what's his name, Ronaldo the other day. His body got sold for how much to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, that's a lot of money, but it's a good property.
His body. Nobody asked how intelligent is he? Is he a nice person? No, it's just about his body. He can do this. So it's because I call it the flesh trade. Because flesh trade does not necessarily to me mean sex. It just means any trade where your body is the asset. You see, so
I think asset is a better word and it's more acceptable to be used
but even
in
when
the
you
industry.
sign, because I used to be a dancer, I know when I sign, I'm owned by those people. I'm really their property. I cannot just suddenly go and perform for some other person. It's breach of contract. I'm not allowed to do it, and I'll have to pay out. So that's why I say semantics. It's asset but property. So this is just my thoughts about. So I don't understand why people get so angry, because when you break it up, yes, maybe if he's just talking about, like I say, if he's talking about someone he's not married to, you cannot claim that person is your property because what have you done? You've not made a commitment. There's no ring on it. You have to commit, then you can say it's mine. Even like when you buy a book, you have to put the money down, then you take it, then it's yours. Like a library, it's not yours because you have to keep giving it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So I think this probably the women that are outrageous, outraged at this sentence, probably they are under 30. Because like I said in the previous discussion, like there's a peak value of woman where, I mean, if you're a woman which are under 30, you get like a intense amount of attention, you get intense amount of benefits for like sleeping around, for being not being a single, like what you said, a property for a man. So that's why they are very defensive, because they see the benefits of whatever, polygamous, or being a hoe to get the benefits.
It's a hoe, because polygamous mean you have to be married, but they're not even married. They're just hoeing around. They're just giving it away.
So I mean, once the woman gets over the age of 30, then their market starts to keep going down. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, actually one man, one woman, that sounds great, because it suits their situation at the time. I mean, but from the age of maybe like 16 to 30, there's a lot of population of women. That's like maybe 20% of the world. So I mean, okay, when we talk about the word property, right? Actually, yeah, I think Andrew Tate just uses that to be a bit controversial.
Yes,
That's a little bit extreme. Yes. Yeah, outrageous. I think it's just the word. It's just the wording. I mean, but then when we use the word, a woman is a man's territory, because that sounds better. Because actually, well, a woman, she brings you love, brings caring, and it brings you motivation to as a man. So imagine, like, for example, I'm a chief of a village, and my town gets invaded by foreign people, foreign Vikings or something. As a chief, you feel unworthy. The disappointment is sometimes it's so bad that, like, you feel like it's worse than dying, like when you lose your territory. So this is the same when a man loses a woman, where we felt that we lost your trust and our territory, and that hurts our ego like a lot. So many men actually grow tremendously out of this experience, because it hurts them so much watching their woman go to another man. So I think when you think about it as in territory, then it is sort of true that a woman should be a man's like territory, a man should be a woman's territory. It is a vice versa type of thing. But as we say, the society nowadays, it is so easy to match with like someone else via social media. A woman will get, maybe a hot woman will get 10,000 DMs, and she'll feel like, oh, this is great. I can even if I get 10% of it, 10% of 1,000 men is 100 men, and each 100 men just gives you 1,000. You get like so much money. So that's why in the world nowadays, we have to like learn back the traditional way, where it's not so easy to get so many matches, get so many it's not so easy to build the relationship. I mean, what Andrew Tate said about property was wrong, but I think his concept of a territory, I think that's spot on.
Yeah, I think it's just the word that people have an issue with. The word property, but the actual concept, I think people will.
The concept is good. Yeah.
Yes, the concept. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just,
and there's an age difference.
Yeah. Age. Yeah.
I think the age difference is also something which is it has to be taken account of.
Yeah, because when you're younger, the perspective is very different from when, like you said, after 30, when you're more matured and you know more about life, then you can kind of gauge. Right. Okay, so number 5. Okay, since the beginning of time, he always talks about this. Man has been polygamous. Well, not polygamous, but because I think when a man has more than one wife, it's called polygyny. Because there's polyandry, polygyny. Okay, so this means when a man has more than one wife. Okay, I wrote it down here. Don't worry, this part I'm not cut out because I'm searching for the. Okay. And then okay, so since the beginning of time, men have practiced polygyny, which is a man has more than one wife. Okay, so he always talks about this, and then I think, and he talks about this like to justify that men can sleep around, but women can't. Here is where I don't agree with him, because polygyny only happens in marriage, not where you have to be married. The man has to be married to those women that he's sleeping around with. It's not just random women. And then he refers to the sultans and the kings. Okay, now the kings are different because the kings actually also had to marry, but the sultans, they didn't have to. But the reason they didn't have to is because those women were their slaves. They were captives. And those women sometimes were forced to be with the sultans. But when you're talking about modern times, you can still have this, but the difference now is that the modern woman has to give consent. You cannot
Yep, definitely.
you cannot, otherwise it's just rape. Okay, so his concept of like trying to say that because they did it in the past, it's okay now, this is not right, because if they did do it in the past, those who did it like during biblical times, they were married to the women. And again, if it was the sultans, they were forcing them. In modern times, you can still do it, but there has to be consent. And the consent must be, even if you're not married, but even if you're a single guy, every woman you are then sharing yourself with has to consent, which is fine because, you can do whatever you want. And then even the women, it's fine for them to consent, because if they are willing to share themselves, which we know, that's because he would know he's in that kind of man that women don't mind sharing themselves with because he's rich. He's the 1% where women just throw themselves at. If they're willing to do that, if they consent to that, then this is how it works in the modern times. Then it's fine, because in modern times, polygamy is accepted, but there has to be consent. So, like I say, I only push back on him with what he's saying is because I don't agree when he says the sultans did it. I think he should leave that part out, because the sultans, they were just sometimes raping the girls, the women, so that's wrong. But when he says, yes, they've been doing it since back in the day, so why can't we do it now? That I can support. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think when regarding to like the sultans or the conquerors, there are like some portion which which was raped, which I mean we can't really argue with this because we don't know situation to situation, but I believe that other than the rapes, I believe that there are women who
did consent.
Actually give consent. Yeah.
Yes, but so because others were captive, they were captives. And when you are captive, you just have to, because you were a prisoner.
But I mean, in the modern society, we are also captive to money, right? So I mean, we may not be that captive as in like freedom. But then, what if the guy who has been paying your house bills suddenly decides to pull out? So we are also captive in terms of money.
True.
So that is also happening in the world nowadays. So I don't think there's much of a difference. I mean, rape is always wrong, but then I think there are more situations where people are actually they are more willing to give up their body for the benefits of living, because it's always a survival of the fittest. If you don't give up something, maybe you'll die somehow or another.
Right.
So I mean, my thoughts on polygamy is actually whether a man can provide for the woman. I mean, this is quite obvious. He needs to provide in terms of financial support, or like women's needs, the children needs. I mean, that's why the top Gs, the sultans, the conquerors, they can provide. So I mean, why not? Secondly, I completely agree with what you said. A woman should give consent and know when his man is like maybe sleep around with other women. I think this red flag will definitely be seen during the course of the relationship. So if this woman just ignores the red flag, I think her ignorance is her downfall. I mean, we don't blame it all on the man. There is a part where the woman kind of knows. Thirdly, I mean, if we see religious beliefs, I think they're in place where they sort of help these people in these type of circumstances. Like for example, Islam, you can have 4 wives. I mean, I can't say that I know so many of them that have 4 wives, but it does help the cases which rich Islamists they are allowed to have 4 wives, and and maybe the wives are more acceptable of this. So I
Yeah,
mean, it
because
sort
they
of
have to
helps a
give
bit.
consent.
Yeah.
Even that Muslim who wants to have 4 wives, he cannot just go and grab one girl at the shop there and
Yeah.
drag her home. He has to ask her, and then she has to give consent, and he also has to ask the other wives. But he cannot just
But I think
simply grab her.
I mean, I hope that is the case, but
They can't just, let's say Malaysia, it's a man, even a Muslim man, he has to get consent, even if it's not from the previous wife, but the new wife, he has to ask, will you marry me? And she has to say
maybe.
yes or no.
Yes,
You know
because
what I mean?
I
He
think
cannot just,
there are cases where the previous wife does not know
yes,
that he's gonna have a second wife. So I
yes.
mean,
But again, that
this
would
is
be that second wife's problem. I mean, she's the problem. Because if she knows the first wife has not given consent, she should not then consent to marry him. You know what I mean?
but the benefits,
So
it
the
depends on the
women,
benefits.
yes, but
Maybe
that's why
she
it says
gets a
at the end of the
Bugatti or
day,
something.
the women have the power. It's not that
Yeah,
man. That's why like you say, you don't know many people with 4 wives, right?
yeah,
Because it's
not
it's
that
very
much. It's
hard.
very rare.
Because
Yeah,
it's
it's
very
very hard to
hard. In
raise
modern
with 4 wives.
times, where are you going to go to a woman, will you be my second wife? She'd be like, if I'm
Yeah,
going to be a wife, I'm going to be the only wife. Bring your brother.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
introduce me to your friend. Yeah, it's
yeah,
because we're in modern times. But of course, like we said, there will be some women, if the money is good enough, if there's benefits,
yeah.
they will be like, if not, why not?
Also, what you mentioned about like why girls may not be able to do this and why men able to do this, because I mean, if a girl does this polygamous relationship, she may actually get mixed feelings with one another because girls are more emotional. So in the end, also this does not really work well because a woman can only give birth to one baby at a time. So most men also will not accept this sort of relationship because I mean the man has an ego and they the security a woman provides them is not worth
Oh, you mean a woman having more than one man?
yeah
Yeah. Oh no, that is not advisable because men are very
that is
territorial,
yeah
extremely. And
so
if as a woman,
it
if
doesn't
you
work.
value your life, you would not have more than one man because a man will kill.
Yeah,
He is that
that's
territorial that so you're not safe.
yep
He will just the thought for a man, just the thought of his woman being with another man will
yep
drive him crazy.
yeah that's exactly
You know,
exactly on point for this. Yeah,
it's so unsafe. I don't know why women would even think about it. It's so unsafe. And then that's
yes,
why I always say, when in the Christian marriage, when you get married, they will say you may now kiss the bride. I always say the priest should just say you may now piss on the bride. Because mark your territory.
yeah, but that doesn't look good in a wedding.
Yeah, but because that's what it is. Men
Yeah,
are very territorial. And if you think as a woman you can have more than one husband, you might as well also buy your coffin
yeah,
because one of them is going to kill you. It's the
yeah.
most unsafe thing any woman can even think of doing. Is
Exactly,
trying to share herself legally with.
I mean, I also have a thought of why men pursue this polygamous is also, I mean, sometimes you hear that the older the marriage goes, sometimes the woman gets pregnant or she gets older, she just doesn't want to have this sexual intercourse.
Yeah,
So, men, we still have the desire. So it's hard for us to shut it off. So, I mean, not most men, but some alpha males, they will just find another woman to satisfy his needs and be like, oh, girlfriend number one, you can fulfill my sexual desires. That's good. You're girlfriend number one. Girlfriend number two, you can take care of me, like maybe in terms
and
of
we'll do
like
my washing.
my washing, my emotional health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girlfriend number three, maybe you're a very good business partner. I mean, some alpha males, they are just very logical and
Yes.
they tend to do these type of things, but
Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's
sometimes
not for everyone. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes the first wife is really his true love, so he doesn't,
Yeah.
and then their relationship is now deeper than at a sexual level. It's more spiritual.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
from her, he doesn't need to get that sexual gratification anymore. That's why he goes somewhere else. But he will still go
He will
back
still
to her
love the
because
first
that,
wife.
yeah, like if you watch Sultan Sulaiman, this Turkish drama, Sultan Sulaiman and Hurrem had that kind of relationship where she was the main wife, although he had all this, but yeah, because the relationship just becomes so spiritual that it's so deep
Yep.
that
Yep.
sex is out of the equation. You know, it's a different level. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, then the last question is, I was just thinking about it. That's why when I sent it to you like last minute. It's about, because these are all things that Andrew Tate said, and then he said here, okay, men look for looks and youth in a woman, and women look for competence and status in a man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I mean I'll be quick with my answer because I see the meeting time is a bit short.
Oh, it's 3 minutes.
So yeah, there's 3 minutes left. So I think that point is very spot on because I mean to conclude, actually, men they look for younger women because younger woman is more pure. They don't have so much baggage, not so much emotional baggage. Not maybe your ex hurt you this way, your ex didn't buy you KFC for your birthday or something. There are so many baggages that come with a woman which are older and
Yes,
has
yes.
more, yeah. And actually, I mean, women think that body count does not matter because they don't reveal it. I mean, but actually, it does matter how many men you have slept with. So that's why men tend to look for youth in a woman. Not, I mean, not particularly because she's just beautiful. I guess that's 30,
Just a
40% of the
bonus.
equation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
just a bonus. Yeah, but
But
it's
the
more the
baggage is something
purity.
else.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
baggage. Yeah.
And for a woman, I mean, security and financial status, and also, I mean, I can't blame the woman because of pressures of society. Sometimes the woman can't be looking the same every time. The dress, her food, her house can't be looking bad. I mean, her clothes can't be looking bad. So, I mean, these are pressures from society, her parents, and I mean, I kind of understand that they would want a competent looking man and
Competent man. Yeah.
yeah, and with
Yeah.
like financial
And they also
security.
make
So
better fathers, I guess, when they're competent.
yeah, it is a fair statement
Yeah.
by Andrew Tate on this. Yeah, I completely agree with this.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, nice to hear from young people, their perspective on things, and especially a young Malaysian male. And I'm so thankful that you agreed to do this podcast, and I hope we will do many more.
Yes, I thank you for the opportunity, Celeste. I mean, this podcast make me have more love for podcasts. Yeah, I hope to start mine, and I mean, maybe you can collab in the future or something. I hope this happens one day.
Yeah.
To the men and to the women who are feeling down, feeling rejected, feeling sad, make sure to use that motivation, that energy, to go to the gym, work out. You will find that you have the key to change your happiness in this world. You are the best chance of succeeding and survival. So, keep your heads high and be the best G you can be. Peace, guys.